Hello everyone. Today I've got 3 amazing horror books for you guys to check out. It's the kind that's going to make you think, the kind that are going to blow your mind, the kind that might make you wonder about what's really going on in this world. Or maybe not, but either way, they're all pretty terrifying. So if that's all you're looking for, you're still in good hands. As a reminder, I have horror books for sale, and of course you can find the ones you see on your screen at the link in the description. And if you want to join my Patreon, I put up free horror books from other authors every month, free short horror stories from me, and really soon I'm going to start doing at least one exclusive video just for my Patreon members each month. So if that's something you're interested in, check out that link. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so the first book I want to talk about today is called Awakened. This one is absolutely mind-blowing. Not only is it very, very terrifying, but it will make you think about a lot of things. There's a lot of talk in here about science and philosophy concerning morality, the nature of sleep, and other issues. But it's not like a textbook or anything. It's a very compelling stuff as far as I'm concerned. I loved every minute of that. And this is set in the near future, 2063, I believe. And in this world, a corporation has invented a neural link chip that are put into people and connected to a single network. And this chip basically, and I'm simplifying it here, and you'll read about it in the book, but it basically allows people to not have to sleep, right? And it enhances them in some ways. They can heal themselves of diseases. They're a little bit stronger, a little bit more agile because of this chip. And the way the chip works is once it's inserted, it eventually makes its way to the brain of the person, and it actually becomes a part of them. It's not, after a while, it's no longer a separate entity. It becomes part of them, and the scientists are saying this is the next step in human evolution. Well, what they didn't count on was putting in a failsafe for in case something catastrophic happened, because they're all hooked up to the same network. And pretty soon, something does happen. It turns these people that have taken the chip, most of the world, and it turns them into their basest, most animalistic selves. They only care about breeding and eating. And they will eat anybody or anything that gets in their way. They're very animalistic. And in this book, are they monsters? Are they not? There's some talk about that too, because they act almost like the zombies in 28 Days Later, let's say, but they're not. They're not dead and reanimated. They are actually still human. They just been enhanced, I guess, with this chip in their head. But in London, at the Tower of London, it's been fortified into a medical laboratory in this future. It's sponsored by somebody they only know as the anonymous billionaire. And the same scientists scientific team that was responsible for the creation and implementation of this chip are now trying to find a cure. Because nobody can walk outside, because these things will ravage you. They will tear you apart. They're very animalistic. But in order to try to find a cure, they have to take some of these sleepless, as they're known, and perform experiments on them. That's where some of the morality comes in. These are still people. They're not monsters, but everybody kind of looks at them as monsters because they're so different from what we consider humanity. And these experiments they have to perform are not necessarily nice or painless or anything. And so that's going to come into effect. But one day, a man and a woman come into their tower area in their fortress, and she doesn't speak at all. But he is actually one of the sleepless, but he's, for the first time ever, a different kind of sleepless. He can communicate. He's very intelligent. You can tell he has rage, but he's able to hold it back, unlike all the rest of these sleepless. And so he and our main I guess you could say, our main protagonists in the story. They are going to form this kind of relationship, and that's where all this talk about what it means to play God, the morality of experimenting on people, even if it is to find a cure, is it worth it for all these people they're going to hurt? How come the scientists think these people are monsters when they're the ones that kind of created them in the first place? And it just gets crazy good. And, oh man. Yeah, this book is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely loved it. Of course, I highly recommend it. And there's a link in the description where you can pick up your copy. And next we have A Girl Walks into a Forest. This is like a dark fantasy fairy tale / horror novel, and it's about this teenage girl in a certain village. She gets selected out of all the girls in her village to go through the woods that are known to be cursed and full of monsters to get to, she's going to marry into royalty. She's going to marry a count. The count has chosen her out of all of them. And in exchange, he's going to give certain goods to the village. So she doesn't really want to do this, but in a way she's excited to live a life of luxury. She thinks it's going to be, a big palace and servants waiting on her hand and foot and all that kind of thing. So she takes her brother and her sister-in-law with her to make the journey. And that very first night, something is going to happen. They're going to meet one of the creatures in these woods, and accidentally, this creature is going to slash her face. She's going to be injured during this scuffle. And when she wakes up, her brother and sister-in-law are gone. The people that rescued her, who happen to be the Count and his men, tell her that they took off in fear, which tracks because they didn't want to go there in the first place. And she's taken to his castle, but it's nothing like she thought it was going to be. This place is not luxurious. She's only fed like porridge and gruel for the most part. And the Count himself is just, he's a horrific man, right? He is mean. He is callous. He is misogynistic. He is abusive. And while she's there, she can't escape now because there's creatures in the woods. So she's going to try to put up with it. She's going to try to go with it, because even if she marries him, well, it'll still work out better for her in the end, she thinks. But the Count has a brother who seems to be the exact opposite. He pays attention to her. He's handsome, unlike the Count. He seems to be sympathetic and empathetic toward her. And she kind of finds comfort in that. But we're going to find out some things about all of that, about the Count, and especially about his brother. This book is full of twists and turns that you don't see coming, And really, this is about, the creatures that are in the woods are very, very real. But who is the real monster here? Because most of the horror and most of the terror from this book comes from her almost imprisonment in this castle at the hands of a very sadistic man who wants to be her husband. And we're going to find out some things about the past, what happened in that castle. We're going to find out she's not the only one. You'll have to read about that. And we're going to find out something about the brother that might make you change your mind about him too. And yeah, this book is just fantastic. It reads like a very dark fable, right? Really dark fantasy, fairy tale vibe. But it gets really, really terrifying. As soon as she hits that castle, man, you know something's wrong. And it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse the more she finds out. Yeah, I love this one again. I highly recommend it again. And there's a link in the description where you can pick up your copy. And next we have Night Games. This is from the brothers Powell, Joey and Josh. They're like the modern day Brothers Grimm, right? Because they write these terrifying horror stories, And this one is great. This is about a guy. He's a carpenter. He does restoration work on houses for rich people. He has a wife, and a baby, and he's doing everything he can for his family, but they always seem to not have enough. And he works very hard. He's a very honest kind of guy. He's very hardworking. He loves his wife and family. They love him very much. And when we get to know him, we see that he's doing everything he can for his family. He's working on a house. The company he works for has contracted, and the guy that owns the house, very rich guy, kind of tries to form a bond with him. Invites him out for dinner one night, and he tells this kid, the rich guy, he tells our protagonist, he goes, I see a lot of potential in you. Like, you're hardworking, you're dedicated to your family. I have a life-changing opportunity for you. I want you to come to a meeting with me, like a mixer, like a little party, where there's going to be titans of industry, some of the wealthiest people in the world attending. And it's a networking opportunity. And the guy says, I'll endorse you to these people. And this could literally change your life. It seems kind of iffy at first, but what has he got to lose, right? So he goes to this party, and that's where, things are going to go off the rails, of course, because this is about very wealthy people treating very poor people like garbage. And basically, everybody that attended has brought a common man or common person with them, right, to this party. And what they're going to be forced to do after the doors are locked and barred, they have no way to escape. What they're going to have to do is perform little twisted games for survival. And survival is not guaranteed. These games are violent and brutal, and it's going to pit them against one another. If they refuse to participate, they will die. If they lose, they're going to die, if they don't die in the process. So it's very important that they all do their best, and all these rich people are betting on them, kind of. They're just treating them like racehorses and objects and things. And it will get brutal, and it will get bloody. But there is something in underground, something ancient, something eldritch, some things living underground that the rich elite people think they have under their control, but we're going to find out that these things might not be as loyal as they think. And as the blood spills and as body and body parts are just laid bare during these contests, our contestants are going to find the way to this underground lair of sorts of these creatures. And from there, things are just going to get like supernatural slasher vibes, man. Like, there's going to be a lot of deaths after these things are unleashed. But can you really trust them? Whose side are they really on, if anybody's? That's the question. Yeah, this one pits rich against poor, and it just does so in a very brutal. It pushes the envelope, just to emphasize that class disparity we are going through in our country, right, or in most countries. And just pushing it to like these terrifying bloody levels, man. It's absolutely great. I love this book. It's coming out very soon. And, of course, I highly recommend it. And there is a link in the description where you can pre-order your copy. And, as always, I want to say thank you for taking some of your time and spending it here with me. And until we meet again, keep reading spooky, my friends.